Roger Sherman doesn't always make it into the spotlight when people's lists of America's founding fathers. He wasn't a fiery orator like Patrick Henry or a flashy thinker like Jefferson or a battlefield hero like George Washington. But here's the thing. Sherman did something else nobody else did. He signed all four of America's great founding documents: the Articles of Association, the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and the Constitution. No one else can make that claim. Sherman wasn't about glory. He was about work. Practical, steady, determined work. He would be the Dean Graziosi or Tony Robbins of his day. Maybe not. I don't know. I just know that they work hard. I guess. I don't know. Or they worked hard, now they make a ton of money. Whatever. I digress. He wasn't a man of theory or flair. He was a man who showed up, hammered out compromises, and made things function. In a revolution full of firebrands, Roger Sherman was the craftsman. Welcome to our republic.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands that
sailors and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the founding fathers. Not
one small step for man. Those three hallowed words reverently dictate what you ought to be, what you can be, what you will be.
we pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Roger Sherman was born in 1721 in Massachusetts to a poor farming family. His early life was defined by hard work, not privilege. He trained first as a shoemaker, working with his hands, only later to study law on his own. Sherman had little formal education beyond the basics, but he had a sharp intellect and unshakable work ethic. In his 20s, he moved to Connecticut, where he worked as a surveyor, merchant, and eventually lawyer. Step by step, he rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most respected leaders in colonial New England. And his career was proof that in America, talent and persistence could push a man far beyond his birth. And by 1760s, Sherman had established himself in Connecticut in politics. He served in the colonial legislature, became a justice of peace, and later a judge. But Britain began taxing the colonies. Sherman was among the voices warning against Parliament's overreach. He became a delegate to the Continental Congress and quickly earned respect for his pragmatism. And while others gave grand speeches, Sherman kept his focus with practical solutions. He was not there to inspire crowds. He was there to get crap done. And in 1776, Sherman was appointed to the Committee of Five, tasked with the drafting of the Declaration of Independence alongside Jefferson, Adams, Franklin, and Livingston. Jefferson wrote most of the words, and Adams defended them. Franklin polished them, but Sherman's persistence mattered. He was part of the core team that presented America's boldest statement to the world. I got to see that rough draft. I mean, you can go back to my X account or on my Instagram or whatever and look. I got to hold the first draft of the Declaration of Independence, man. What an incredible honor. It's just, I get chills just right now, even just thinking about it, that I got to hold the first draft of one of our founding documents. It was incredible. If you ever get the experience to see it, American Journey experience with Glenn Beck down in Dallas, Texas, I highly recommend it. But when when Sherman signed the Declaration, he placed himself firmly amongst the revolutionaries who staked everything on independence. Sherman also played a key role in drafting the Articles of Confederation, America's first governing document. The Articles were created. The Articles created a loose union of states, too weak in the long run, but an essential step in giving the new nation some structure. Sherman was there, guiding the process, signing his name to the plan. And in 1787, it was clear the Articles weren't enough. America needed a stronger framework, and Sherman, now one of the elder statesmen at the convention, brought with him decades of experience. And it was Roger Sherman who proposed the Great Compromise. You remember, the delegates were locked. Large states wanted representation based off population. Small states wanted equality. Sherman's solution was elegant, a bicameral legislature with a House of Representatives reflecting the population and the Senate giving equal voice to each state. That compromise saved the convention, and without it, the Constitution might never have been written. For that alone, Sherman secured his place in history. And after the Constitution was adopted, Sherman continued to serve. He became a U.S. congressman, then senator, and then focused on practical issues. He spent his career working not for fame, but for stability and unity. And Sherman died in 1793, still serving in office, a lifetime dedicated to the hard work of building a nation, signing all 4 founding documents. Again, Roger Sherman, the only man to sign all 4 founding documents. He wasn't the flashiest or the loudest, but he was the steady hand that made the revolution more than just speeches and dreams. He was the compromiser, the craftsman, and the man who made the things work. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. And remember, history isn't boring. It's the story of quiet builders who give revolutions their founding. See you next time.